Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hello, it's Tracy Daviero, and welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Today, we're talking about longevity in business, what it takes to stay in business long term. We all start our businesses expecting to be doing it for the long haul. I know I did, but sometimes our actions don't allow us to do that. So, in today's episode, I want to talk about a few different ways, actually, maybe a lot of different ways that you can set yourself up for success. And hint, hint, it has a lot to do with embracing change at many different turns. You have to change the way you are doing some things if you are not seeing the success that you want. So let's talk about how to do that. Today's quote is from Steve Jobs, and it is, "If you look really closely, most overnight successes took a long time." Very true. This quote is great for today's session because many virtual assistants I talk to think that overnight success is what they want, but it's not really. What we want is to be successful quickly. That's the dream, and that's different. It has to work, doesn't it? Our business has to work. But sometimes it takes a little while to get it all right. Let's help you get going in the right direction starting today. I have so many tips for you today on how to build your business so that you'll be around for many years to come. So I want to just get right to it. I hope you have a pen and some paper to take some notes. First off, we need to set your expectations. We need to know what you want from your business. What do you want it to be able to do for you? We know some of the reasons that we started our business, and we definitely know why we don't want to work for anybody else anymore. But what about the business itself? What does the revenue that we pay ourselves, or the revenue that comes into the business and the money that we use, what does that actually do for us in our lives? That is the expectation that you need to set. What do you want? What kind of a lifestyle do you want your business to be able to support for you? That will give you the answer to a lot of different questions. It will tell you when you work, who you work with, what kind of money you make, all of those kinds of things. So the expectations for your business is a really, really important thing to consider. And if you haven't done that yet, I would challenge you actually to sit and really look at those things and think about what it is that you want, that a job just won't bring you the same things, right? If you're just looking for money to pay for XYZ, but why your business? Why are you choosing to run a business? And what does that look like for generally for the rest of your lifetime, if that's what we're looking at? And then you want to extend that. What does it do for your clients? How does it help your clients for you to be in business? What do they get out of it? And how does it change their business or their life or their lifestyle as well? And then how does that impact their clients? If you're working with a service professional, like a business coach, like I used to, you are also not just impacting your client, but you're impacting your client's clients as well. So dig deep for those kinds of things and look at what being in business for you is doing for you, but also for the people that your business touches as well. And what is your vision from the time you decide to start? You want to set those expectations, why you got into business to begin with, and not just, because you didn't want you wanted to be your own boss or something like that, but why business is the answer and why a job is not going to bring you those same things. You want to focus on your main initiative all the time. I started doing this several years ago, and it really does work. I used to set goals. I still set goals, but I used to, set different goals all the time. I used to have really long-term goals that, frankly, I never reached because I just kind of went off course. And so when you think about setting your business up with what is your main initiative, what is that one thing in the horizon that you want to be or do or have or reach? And when you look at the things that you are doing on a daily basis, check in with yourself and say, is this thing that I'm doing right now contributing to where I want to go? contributing to that thing at the end of the path or halfway down the path or however far ahead it is. If it's not serving you, then maybe it's not something that you should be doing, right? And like I say, I started doing this on the advice of my business coach a few years ago, and it's really, really helpful. I knew that this was my goal, and I could look down at the things that I was doing on a daily basis, whether it was client work or whether it was my own marketing or networking or admin or anything like that, research, whatever. If I could look at that thing and say, is this contributing to me getting to where I want to go? Then if it is, great. If it's not, then how can I change it, or how can I adapt it, or simply, or should I just not do it anymore? For example, we can look at it with a tangible example. If you look at what you're doing to market your business, is everything you're doing, i.e., social media, or TikToks, or blog writing, or newsletters, or LinkedIn, is every little piece of that working for you? If it isn't, then figure out what might work and adapt it so that it is going to work towards that one thing that you're looking to do. Or just simply stop doing it and replace it with something else that will get you further to your goal. I tell VAs all the time, there's absolutely no need to be on all social media channels. Certainly not posting duplicate content on all of them, but that's another story for another day. But if you're working on a certain channel and it's not doing anything for you, you want to limit your exposure, your efforts on that particular channel, and focus on the ones that are bringing you the results. I know that I tell people all the time, get really good at one platform before you go on to another one. And I still think that that's really good advice. If you're working Facebook or if you're working LinkedIn and it's really bringing you results, then stick with it, right? Make sure that that's the thing that is really focused for you in terms of your marketing. So focus on your main initiative all the time. Do what you love. This is kind of a no-brainer, but it so often bears repeating because I think we forget that, people are paying us to work for them or to do work for them. And we think that we have to do everything that they ask. And this is one of the things that really I hear a lot with my private clients. They get dragged down by their clients and the work that they do. They don't enjoy it, and they're struggling in their business because they don't like what they're doing every day. Well, I mean, you may as well have a job if you're going to do a bunch of things that you don't want to do, right? When you are looking to build your business and especially to have your business stay around long term, there's absolutely no sense in doing things that you don't enjoy. Now, I used to offer virtual event services and telesummits and that type of thing. And were there things within the virtual event production that I didn't like doing? Absolutely, there were, but that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, on a daily basis, I still loved all the things about virtual events, and I outsourced some of them too, which I'll get to shortly as well. But, in general, when we're looking at the services that we offer, do you like to do what it is you're doing? It makes things a lot easier. It makes things easier to just wake up and do it every day, but it also helps you if you're interested in what it is so that you can keep on top of trends. You are naturally searching and researching in your, daily, when you're surfing online, you're able to find things because it's interesting to you. So it is really important to do what you love. Building relationships. The people that you connect with every single day are very important to your business. You need to make sure that you're constantly connecting with people, even if you have a full client load, and building relationships with great business owners. Your business is going to grow, probably not with the clients that you're working with today. I'll tell you that honestly. I know a lot of VAs who start working in their business or start their business with a few clients. They get really connected or really, committed to those clients, and they think that they just always have to work for them and they don't need to change things up. But I'll tell you that you will grow as a business owner when you change out your clients. And I don't mean that you need to let go of your clients all the time, but it's not necessary to continue working with somebody for years and years and years. I had clients who I worked with very short term, and I also had clients that I worked with very long term. And I'll tell you that the ones that I worked with long term, even though I loved them and I loved a lot of what we did, it became difficult to do business stuff with some of them because we were so close. And so, when we wanted to raise rates or when we wanted to say no to certain tasks and that kind of thing. Those were the things that were a struggle. Whereas when I was bringing in sort of fresh blood all the time, new clients all the time, that was not a challenge because I was able to preserve my business persona, and really be able to make decisions and say no and set my rates wherever I wanted and all those kinds of things with my clients who hadn't grown with me in the sort of infancy stages of my business. So building relationships is very, very important, and not being afraid to change up your clients when a great one comes along is one of the best things you can do for the success and health of your business. But it's also something that we are allowed to do and that we are actually encouraged to do. I would encourage you to do that and not just stick with the people that you've worked with and stick with the rates probably that you have set for them, which are likely too low, which is my next point. Set your rates properly. Set it and forget it is not the right way. I can't even tell you how many VAs I talk to who do not raise their rates with a client once they have started. I know that rates are a tricky thing because we feel like we're constantly describing to people where the value is in a VA when you can hire an assistant for whatever $18 an hour and you're paying a VA 25 or 30 or 40. How do we distinguish between that? How do we describe to the client that this is a worthwhile expense for them instead of hiring somebody privately as an employee? And so rates is always a really big issue. And so once we get the client to say yes, once, we often just stop asking them to say yes anymore. But your business will not grow if you don't continuously raise your rates. And that doesn't mean every few months. That means on an annual basis if that's what you need to do. Or as your service changes, as you get packages going or whatever it is. But always so that your clients are paying you for your level of expertise. And remember, the longer you work as a VA, the better you are at it and the more expertise you grow from the daily tasks that you work at, from the things that you learn, from the trainings you take, and just generally from your experience. I remember I worked on a subcontractor team for 4 years when I first started out as a VA. And I'll tell you, that was a very long time ago. Can I tell you the year? I think it was about 2000, maybe 2004. And so that was a really long time ago. And at the time, I was getting paid $18 US to be on that team. So just go back to the rates thing for 1 second. If you're still charging anywhere near around that, that was almost 20 years ago. And if you're charging anywhere near that, it is too low. Okay. Very, very, very important. And so, but what I learned on that team, that was a very long time to work on a team also, by the way. It's very important to move around and to be able to not just shake up your clients, but working on a team with someone, you want to be able to grow on that team. You don't just want to be churning out the same work year after year because it just doesn't help you grow. And you have grown. You have grown as a business owner, so you want to make sure that you're always showcasing that. And so I worked on this team for 4 years and I learned everything I could. And I went way up the ranks. I was a very, sort of high level member on the team by the time I left. And I only left because of the differential between my rates and the rate that I was making as a sub, which are often very different. And we'll talk about that on another session for sure, because there's a definite way to do that. But I worked on this team for 4 years. I learned everything that I could and I adapted it to my own business. And I was able then to offer different services to clients whenever I was working with them on my own, like direct clients. One of the things that I was able to do was learn about affiliate management, which is, again, I'll talk about it on another call, but I give you a little tidbit today. Is affiliate management, where you work with partners, right? And so I learned so much about that on this team that I worked with, and I became a real expert in it. It's very challenging for people to understand how the different systems work and how the different percentages and who gets paid what and who keeps what, who does the organization for a partner event and all of those kinds of things. And that's something that I learned and I took that forward. So that's what you always want to be doing, is set your rates properly and don't be afraid about about increasing them. Don't never be afraid to increase them, no matter what level you are at, whether you're on a sub team or a sub on a team, if you are just starting out or if you've been in business a long time. Your money is really, really important. It's one of the main keys to your success and longevity as a VA. You don't have money, you don't have any business, so you want to keep really close tabs on this. You also want to know your numbers. You have to not be afraid of analytics or money. There's all kinds of numbers in your business, right? You need to know what the things you need to look at are in your business to see the health of your business and see how things are going. You must be able to see where your time is being spent. That's very important. Because a lot of our time we don't bill to our clients, right? Admin time, or that's what we call it. You want to make sure that you're getting paid as much as you can and you're not wasting time on other things. See where your time is being spent. See where your leads are coming from, whether that means you have lead magnets or newsletters and opt-in things and all that kind of thing, or if it's just handshakes and connections that you're making with people. Where are the people who are interested in what you have to offer and who are your clients or potentially your clients? Where are they coming from? Because you want to be able to focus on those areas. If you're getting most of your clients from LinkedIn, that's what you want to be spending your time on. These things are really important. Or if you're spending, like I said earlier, a lot of time on LinkedIn, you're not seeing a lot of results. You want to either do it better or you want to jump off and find clients someplace else. The numbers in your business are called key performance indicators, and they are different for everyone, which is something I learned from my business coach a couple of years ago as well. I thought they were kind of the same for everybody. I was tracking things like Google Analytics and blog post views and opt-ins to my list and that kind of thing. And what I realized was the key performance indicators that I needed to look at in my business were not those numbers at all. They're important, but those are the only things I was focusing on because that's all I knew to focus on. And they were not the things that were telling me what I needed to know in my business. So think about what you should be tracking in your business and what are those things. What did I need to know in my business? A couple of my, and I don't even have these in my notes here today. I'm just thinking about it and I want to tell you. I would track how many people I got consults with and, how many of those converted, how many people I met at networking events, and how many people I brought into my pipeline, my audience or my customers, or potential customers, I guess, and from what places. And those were really important because if I'm spending my time doing this networking, I want to know what is the breakdown of the people coming in. I have a question on my opt-in boxes that says, where did you find me? It's an optional question that people can answer. And that's really important for me to look at and say, somebody recommended me. I saw you on Google. I saw you in your Facebook group, or I saw you at an event. I heard you on speaking on a conference, whatever it is. And so all of those things are really, really important. And they're important for me to track. So you need to figure out what it is you should be tracking and just monitor them all the time and look for the opportunities there. Money, I've already talked about a little bit, but you need to know what you need to bring in to run your business. You need to know what the bare minimum is, and you need to know what your daily sales is. One of the best things that I implemented, and again, this is from one of my business coaches. Hey, it's really helpful to have a business coach. Are you guys getting this? Are you understanding this? Was to keep a daily revenue tracker. And I thought it was a funny idea at the time. It shows you, all you do is you write down how much money you've brought in, like literally to your bank account on any given day of the month. So I have a page for every single month, and I have for years and years now. And if I get a payment on the 1st, I write it down on the 1st. If I get a payment, on the 9th, I write it down on the 9th. And it's just one sheet with 30, 31 lines on it, whatever it is. And, but what it does, it's very, very interesting because as a VA, of course, I billed mostly on the 1st of the month. I had a set of clients that I also booked on the 15th of the month, so I could get money in twice a month. But when you start looking at it, and this is what my business coach said to me, is it's not about, like, I knew how many clients I had and I knew how much money was coming in, but I didn't write it down at the time. This, again, was a long time ago. And so when I started doing that, I started seeing all the gaps in those days where I wasn't earning any money. And yes, the client had paid me a retainer at the beginning of the month to work for the month. But I would see, especially past the 15th, if I didn't have any money coming in because I didn't have the clients that were, I had my clients billed on the 1st or the 15th, I would see on the 20th, 21st, 22nd of every month that I had so much opportunity to actually earn more money. So I could pick up a project if I wanted to earn. I knew it by the 15th, and I only had, maybe 2 or 3 clients that paid me on the 15th. So all of my money came in on the 1st, and then I waited around. I was doing client work, of course, but I waited around until the next month before any more money came in. And I was just in that loop, in that sort of circle and going, I'll just wait. I just know that month, that money's coming on the 1st, that money's coming on the 1st. And I hear VAs doing that all the time, just trying to figure out how to get paid, when to get paid, and they're constantly waiting for that paycheck, right? And so when you keep the daily revenue tracker, it shows you the opportunities of buckets of time where you can reach out to somebody and say, hey, did you want to get started on that project? We can get that done. And maybe that's a $300 job or a $500 job or whatever, and you can put that into your calendar and get more money coming in every month. It's a real opportunity. And even though it sounded really odd to me at the time, I started doing it when Brian told me that I should be doing it. And I couldn't believe the difference just in my attitude as well about money, and thinking, wow, I've got all this time. And of course, with your client work, as long as you fit things in. But if you're only getting paid on the first of every single month and waiting around till the next month, you're probably leaving money on the table. So I think that's a really key tip. It has really worked for me. I literally still do it every single month. And some months it gets depressing when you look at it and you think that's not as much money as I wanted to be bringing in this month. But then what it does is it kicks you into gear to say, okay, who can I call? Who can I reach out to see if they have something? And it really helped me whenever I had some lean days, and still have some lean days in my business. So try that one out for sure. Pay your bills. Make sure you pay what you owe to the government, to your suppliers, to your team, and especially to yourself. You're not going to stay in business long term if you run out of money. And so make sure that obviously you're bringing in more than you're paying out. But you also want to not run out of people who want to work with you, including yourself. If you are struggling to pay yourself what you know that you need, then you need to go back and look at either your rates, the clients you're working with, the work you're doing, those kinds of things, because a lot of us set our rates without ever thinking about the expenses that we're going to incur. And so we underpay ourselves because we're trying to pay everybody else. So you want to make sure that you're looking at it from that perspective. What do you need to bring in? What do you want to pay yourself? And start with that. What do how much do you need to pay for your taxes, your government, your other expenses? What do you need to pay to other people to help you? What do you need to pay to training courses or whatever else? And then, of course, all of your small business expenses as well. So that's why we need our rates to cover all of those things, because we don't want to shortchange anybody, especially ourselves, right? Create systems and processes for growth. When you document all of your business processes, it is so easy to get people to step in and help you in the areas that you need it, whether it's subcontractors that you're going to bring in, or whether you're just going on vacation and you need someone to cover you for a couple of weeks on things that still sort of need to be kept up while you're away. Processes can be really helpful. And it can also be a really good way to sort of get your foot in the door for using a subcontractor or outsourcing something to somebody else. And you want to make sure that everything is done to your standards. Just because someone else knows how to use MailChimp or Asana or whatever other systems that are out there that everybody's using, doesn't mean that they're doing it your way. So you want to be able to document that and say, okay, I need you to send out so-and-so's newsletter next week while I'm gone. I'll get it on Friday. I'll send you whatever I can. But you fire over your procedure and they can follow it. It makes things a lot easier for them, because sometimes we log into a system that we haven't used in a while and maybe the version update is there, or maybe you have things set up differently. So you want to be able to walk people through that. And doing that is something that's going to really help you grow easily whenever you need to. Outsource when the time is right. Very important. I love to talk about outsourcing, not just because we do it and that's our bread and butter. It's what we do for our clients. But if you need anything that will help you run your business better, then you should be outsourcing it too. If you need a bookkeeper, a virtual assistant, if you need a gardener, a house cleaner, a web developer, or a project manager, all of these things can help you to earn more money and to be able to build your business and to build your lifestyle that you want. Let's never forget about that. It's not just about bringing in all the money. It's about you not working 80-hour weeks, but actually being able to set your business up the way you want, so that you are living the lifestyle that you want. You're paying yourself, you're taking the time that you want off, and being able to do all of those things. Outsourcing will help you do that. Just like we tell our clients all the time that outsourcing is what they should be doing in their business, we should also be doing it. And you can also just outsource your one-off projects like course system setup. Have someone build those processes for you, or building your website, finding really great people and then trusting them to do the things that they are best at. If one of those things, remember we went back earlier about being in charge of your time and looking to see where your time is going. If some of that time is about learning a course creation software that you're not going to use to you run your business, like in terms of offering that service to clients, it's probably not the best use of your time. You don't need to learn how to use whatever those systems are called. I can't remember. Memberium, I'll say, because that's one of the ones I use. But you don't need to learn how to use all the facets of that simply because you're going to be selling a course. If you can have somebody set it up, then you can work through it and say, okay, this is, if you're selling a course yourself, you can say, now I know how to do it. That person will show you the sort of the ins and outs of it, and that's fine. But it is sometimes better just to outsource these things and get them done so cheaply. Not cheaply, quickly, I should say. Well, sometimes you can get them done cheaply too, because people who know how to do them can get them done in a lot less time. I know for myself, when I was looking to set up my membership training area or site, I guess you want to call it, I know how to use the back end, but it's time consuming to be able to put the pieces together. So I was looking for someone who could help me get that done more efficiently and faster, because I know it's not a good use of my time. And it's the same to be said for you, is that there are things that you're probably doing in your business that are taking you a lot longer to get them done because you're learning as you go. Now, if you are learning so that you can offer that as a service to your clients, then it's time well spent, usually, not always. But in terms of outsourcing your stuff, and like I say, your bookkeeping or your house cleaning, I love, love, love the time that my house cleaner gives me back every single day. And honestly, I probably should have a gardener too, but I still feel like that's a little extravagant expense for me. So you figure out what works for you and work it into your revenue. You want to diversify your revenue streams when the time is right. The better you get at something, or the more experience that you gain, you're going to become a strategist. You're going to become a teacher. You should teach, you should consult, you should create passive income, but not until you are absolutely maxed out on client work. I see a lot of virtual assistants start to get their business set up, and then they get a bunch of clients, and all of a sudden they want to teach or coach or something like that. And that's fine. You only ever have to be one step ahead of the person that you're teaching. That's really good advice that somebody told me at one point, and they are absolutely right. But what it does when you split your focus like that is that you then stop focusing on that goal in the distance of being a VA for a long time. And why do we do it? Because we help our clients, and our clients help their clients, and so on. But it's really important for you to stay the course on that. And when you start to all of a sudden then teach too soon, then you're sort of watering everything down, and you're not doing a great job at either thing. So, and I tried to do that for a long time. I coaching and teaching took a back burner for me for a very long time because I was so busy as a VA. But you want to be able to bring that into your business at some point, because it is going to help you sustain when you are leaps and bounds ahead of all of the other people, right? So maybe there are services that you will offer, or that you do offer now, that you will not really need to offer in the future, because you can create a product, or you can create a little course that your clients can go through, and then they can learn how to do that on their own, or other team, VAs can learn how to do it so they can take that over. There are a lot of different ways to incorporate teaching and consulting into your business, but it's certainly something for a long-term business strategy is a very good thing to be able to diversify your income. Stand out. We're almost done here. I have told you I have so many points for you today. You want to stand out all the time in your business. You don't want to just take on those 3 or 4 big clients or decent sized clients and then sit back and never be known by anybody. Anything can happen anytime. Your clients' businesses can fail, and suddenly you have no client, you have no revenue from that client anymore. You want to be networking all the time, but you want to be able to be visible, and you want to connect with people. You want to build those relationships, but also you want to brag about yourself, and don't be shy to do this. It's hard to do. A lot of us are introverts, aren't we? VAs, we're support professionals. So we've been behind the scenes for so many years that we're just kind of shy. And I know I was like that too. I don't have any problem telling anybody how good I am at my job and my work anymore, because I'm very confident that I help the people that I work with, virtual assistants just like you. I absolutely know that I am a very good force in their business, and that we get the results that they want to when they start working with me. And so I'm very, very confident about that. But it took a long time. Maybe it didn't take a long time. It took me a long time to actually brag out loud, because that was not really in my nature. But when you're helping people, you really do want to be able to tell others. So tell people about who you work with. Tell them what you help them with and what that helps your clients do. Just like we were talking about a little bit earlier, making sure that others know what is possible for them as well. If they're struggling with the same things that your clients struggle with, then they should be able to know you can help them. You want to collect testimonials and reviews, all those kinds of things, and provide amazing service to all of your clients all the time. If you want your clients to rave about you, make sure that you're worth raving about. It's not just about saying to them, how are things going? Could you send me a testimonial? You want them to want to talk about you. You want them to want to talk about how your business is better, their business is better, because they're working with you. And that's just simply by doing exactly what you're doing every day, but providing amazing service to them. And finally, stay the course. Keeping at it is one of the most difficult things that VAs seem to have when they finally pack it in, right? If things seem like they are hard, they don't need to be crazy hard. So get some help to course correct. If there's something that you're not sure of in your business, if there's something that's not working, if you're not getting clients, if you're not getting the right clients, get help with that. Figure out why not. What are you doing wrong? Or where are you connecting with people, and why is that not the right place? Or what are you saying that's incorrect and that's not attracting the clients to you? There's so many different things that somebody can look at objectively at your business and say, this is what you need to change, or this is what you need to focus on, or this is what we need to fix in order to move forward, right? Get help to course correct. Make sure that you keep your goals and that focus. Remember point number 1 we talked about today. Keep your focus in mind all the time, and keep an eye on all of that important trackable stuff, those KPIs, right? Your money, your connections, whatever it is that's important to your business, that will show you where the areas are that you need to focus on. Maybe show you what you're doing wrong. And if you don't know how to fix it, it's okay. But as long as you can identify the issue, I don't have enough money coming in. Okay, well, what would we look at? What are you charging? How many clients do you have? How do you track your time? When do your clients pay you? How do your clients pay you? There's a lot of different things that we can look at in terms of money that maybe you just haven't even really thought of yet. So getting some help and being able to get someone to advise you on what the areas are that you can fix. And it's often just a really simple fix, to be quite honest. So don't let it get to the point where you're super frustrated and really desperate because you want to be able to build and grow. And then the next time you just take that knowledge that you just learned and you apply it yourself, right? It's very, very important. And don't be afraid to grow in the areas that build up quickly. Whatever it is that that you're doing, you can change your business. You can change your services. You can change your rates. If I know for me, I doubled my rates overnight again with one of my business coaches. I was charging $25 an hour many, many, many moons ago, and he just said to me, "That is not what you need to be charging. You could easily double your rates, because when you are looking for clients who are making 6 and 7 figures in their business, which is exactly what I was doing, he's like, they can afford you and they need you. It's not just a matter of, oh, they can pay you, but they need your level of expertise. They need you to take everything and do it all. They need to not be worried about all the little things. They need you to do that for them. And that's a level of service that you're providing for them that is extremely valuable, because it helps them go out and, network and speak and work with their clients and create group programs and run very, big masterminds and all those kinds of things. That was one really, really big piece of advice for me that I now give to you. So there is no such thing as an overnight success. It takes time, but it doesn't need to take a crazy amount of time. You need to be able to walk that path. Remember that path with your goal at the end of it. You need to be able to walk that path one step at a time. And sometimes you'll take one step today, and then you'll take 2 steps tomorrow, and maybe you'll take a half a step the next day. But as long as you're moving forward, think of yourself walking on that sidewalk. As long as you're not taking many, many steps back or standing completely still, you're going to be moving in the direction of that goal, and you're going to get there. I promise you will. That's all I have for you this week. Go out there and be a ridiculously good VA. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.